Yeah, friends, the warning that just flashed on the global network isn't a casual post, it's a seismic verdict. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, has just released a brutal image, stamping the Strait of Hormuz as new territory of the United States. He has no limits, we know that. What you're seeing isn't just a digital provocation. It's the death certificate of Iran's cheapest, most cowardly and lethal weapon, the naval mine, which has just been summarily neutralized by an invisible, underwater and ruthless robotic force. The Strait of Hormuz is the planet's energy lifeline, and you know that. It's the bottleneck where 20% of the world's oil passes through daily. And if you're an elite analyst here in our community, you know that too. Iran believed it could hold the world hostage through underwater terrorism, planting explosive devices in international waters. But the electric atmosphere in the Persian Gulf suffered a diplomatic and kinetic short circuit. In an act of absolute panic, Iran has just fired 2 ballistic missiles toward the United Arab Emirates. And pay attention, because the silence right after the missile salvos was more deafening than the blast itself. One fell in international waters, the other violated the territorial sea of the United Arab Emirates. And the response was not a UN statement, it was not a written protest. The response was a banking collapse. But to understand how we got to the point where Iran fires missiles in a desperate attempt not to appear humiliated, you need to understand what the American war machine was doing above and below those same waters. My friends, this is what I call the robotic steel wall, the doctrine of denial. Iran's A2AD doctrine was dismantled, and the Persian Gulf board has just been cleared. Now, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell and leave a like on the video, because it takes a lot of work to make it. Look, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard thinks they are operating in the shadows when they lay mines. But they forgot about the ultimate predator that hovers in the atmosphere. We need to get into the engineering details that blind the Ayatollahs. The Boeing PH Poseidon is no ordinary petrol plane. It's a beast with a maximum takeoff weight of 85 tons, powered by 2 massive CFM56-7 Bravo turbofans, operating at a formidable service ceiling that puts it well above the clouds. But the Poseidon's lethality isn't just in its engines. It's in the brain of the beast. It carries the APY-10 Surface Search Radar Suite, specifically designed to see what the water tries to hide. Picture yourself there with me, operating this Colossus's mission consoles at 30,000 feet. Aren't you looking for a noisy enemy fleet? Your monumental challenge is to hunt down a dark metal sphere weighing almost 1,000 kilos, floating inert and silent in a waterway more than 30 kilometers wide. The naval mine is a blind weapon with no engine, no radio, no radar, and it doesn't emit heat. The P8 solves this nightmare using advanced hydroacoustic sensors and sonar buoys dropped directly from the air. It maps the reefs, ocean currents, and normal wreckage on the seabed and subtracts this information until the anomaly, the Iranian mine, stands out on the screen. The Poseidon is the eye of the ocean, and with every minute it flies over the Strait of Hormuz, it coordinates the operations below it, neutralizing Iran's mining tactics before the nearest tanker is ever at risk. And this relentless hunt by the robotic walls of steel has provoked the visceral desperation of the Iranian regime, resulting in the infamous launch of 2 ballistic missiles that we mentioned at the beginning. Mainstream media might look at this and think, look how strong Iran is, look how Iran attacks. That's a lie. Iran fired missiles to look threatening, but the only thing it managed to do was shoot itself in the foot. By violating the United Arab Emirates maritime space with ballistic weaponry, the Iranians caused an absolute financial shockwave. Right after midnight of the attack, the government of Abu Dhabi retaliated without firing a single gunshot. They completely cut off all trades, all transactions, and every official financial flow with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Strategic intelligence requires you to understand the scale of this. The banking blockade imposed by the Emirates hurts the Ayatollahs much more than if American Tomahawk cruise missiles had flattened an entire warehouse. It's the disappearance of the money spring. It's the strangling of the financial lifeline that funds Iran's terror proxies. The conventional American Navy imposed a blockade at sea that was bleeding about $500 million a day from the Iranians. Now the Gulf's financial market has cut off the landscape route. Iran is being suffocated. And if you think this video needs to break through the bubble and reach thousands of Brazilians, you can sponsor it directly with the super thanks down below or use the information that appears on your screen now. If you prefer, use the QR code and go straight to your app. My friends, this community keeps growing every day thanks to you. But how? In practical terms, was the physical threat eliminated so quickly? If you think the sweep was carried out only by heavy aircraft carriers and traditional warships sweeping the waters, you still haven't noticed the doctrinal shift? We are witnessing the second level of modern naval combat. In September of the year before the crisis, the United States retired its Avenger-class mine-hunting ships that were based in Bahrain. Iran thought the way was clear, that the floodgates were open. They miscalculated badly because the Americans didn't replace old ships with new ones. They replaced ships with cyber-killer drones. What was sent to the Gulf is what intelligence calls the Avenger Assembly, a more robotic setup. The Strait of Hormuz was flooded with Independence-class littoral combat ships, equipped with advanced mine-hunting modules. The scanning below the waves was outsourced. Imagine the unmanned underwater vehicles, like the imposing and precise Lamprey system, patrolling the depths of the Gulf without emitting any organic sounds. They sweep the ocean floor, operate in total darkness, and use artificial intelligence to distinguish maritime rocks from the lethal Iranian arsenal. On the surface, small fleets of autonomous drone boats like the versatile Corsair speed through the waters conducting multiple scans. The impact of this robotic architecture is revolutionary. The Pentagon had told the US Congress in April that it would take 6 months until October to clear the minefields. Thanks to the disposable robots, the entire Iranian minefield was swept in August, cutting 4 months from the original schedule. All of this without risking a single life of a sailor or special forces diver. The machines cleared the sea while the Ayatollahs were still making speeches. And notice, this didn't happen overnight, because it's grounded. Things don't happen overnight. The United States has been at war with Iran, war in quotes, since February 28th. Do the math. Robotic clearing of the waters and the long exposed patrols of the P-8 Poseidon and the high-altitude RQ-4 Global Hawk drones take place while highly vulnerable. Iran would love to engage and shoot down a high-value American target to use as a propaganda piece, wouldn't they? The P-8 is massive, slow for evasive maneuvers, and most importantly, not stealthy at all. But how does it survive while challenging the Iranian perimeter? This is where the unwritten blood pact between American pilots comes in. While the Poseidon sweeps the oceans, the cloud above it shelters the invisible supersonic beasts. The 5th generation F-35 Lightning II fighters and the F-22 Raptor fighters. And we need to be technical here. The F-35 isn't just a fast plane. It's a flying supercomputer coated with radar-absorbing metal that devours the signals from the Revolutionary Guard's surface-to-air systems. with its built-in weapons, no external pylons to preserve stealth, and an unprecedented fusion of multispectral sensors. The F-35 pilot can see the Iranian anti-aircraft systems being activated before they even spot the American plane. These pilots aren't crossing the Gulf just to drop bombs. The current doctrine puts them there as absolute kinetic shields. It's the ultimate agreement of the military code. The F-35 pilot will put his own jet, his own life in front of an Iranian missile before allowing it to get close to the P-8 Poseidon or a minesweeper on the surface. They operate in a state of continuous asymmetric warfare, with a real wall of steel in the sky that breaks the spirit of any imminent attack from the Revolutionary Guard. Yes, my friends, this clash of machines we are seeing in the Gulf is a symptom of a much larger geopolitical mechanism operating across the entire planet. Take a global tour with me now. In Ukraine, what Iran tried to do with crude weaponry is being answered in Europe with massive saturation. The United Kingdom has just announced that it will put 150,000 drones into the hands of Ukrainian soldiers. These are highly precise FPV kamikaze drones developed by the British company BAE Systems, capable of penetrating deep into Russian territory and pulverizing refineries near Moscow. It's a cheap and overwhelming robotic annihilation strategy that Russia simply doesn't have enough anti-air systems to counter. And in response to this, Vladimir Putin said that the United Kingdom is now in the crosshairs. My friends, answer here now in the comments. Do you think Vladimir Putin would be capable of launching a tactical nuclear bomb against Europe if he felt he was on the brink of death? Now come fly with me to Asia and take a look at the island of Taiwan. Faced with the ongoing threat from the Chinese Communist Party, the Taiwanese have stopped relying on bureaucratic miracles from Washington. They took their old armored vehicles and decommissioned tanks, parked them on the firing ranges, and released their new drone squadrons. They are sacrificing their old steel to teach robotic pilots to destroy, punch holes, and blow things up. They turn over the real hulls of armored vehicles. It's brutal, realistic, and deadly training against the imminent invasion. And in the heart of the United States, the Department of Defense came down on academia like a hammer. They sent the ultimatum to 30 of the largest American universities. Pay attention to this, because later I have a gift for you. They ordered them to cut all ties and funding with educational institutions and military centers linked to the Chinese army, or they would lose government funding in 14 days. It's the urgent dismantling of espionage within the academic network. The war we're covering didn't start with gunfire, but with the theft of intellectual property. Now, as an active part of our community of analysts, you're going to write in the comments the two keywords that serve as the surgical verdict of our elite analysis today. Right now, robotic wall. I repeat, robotic wall. The chessboard in the Strait of Hormuz is the final reflection of Tehran's narrative collapse. The Revolutionary Guard tried to blackmail the world economy based on their supposed ability to disrupt the flow of energy with their deadly minds. The strategy has always relied on Western fear, but the United States yanked the rug out from under them. When the American Navy stealthily deactivated the minefields, it wasn't just a logistical victory, it was the extraction of Iran's poisoned tooth. The fang of the beast that was cornered was pulled out. Iran lost its main and heaviest bargaining chip in the Gulf. The Iranian mines became scrap before they even saw combat. The big tactical question is what happens now in the Iran's command structure. The internal factions are killing each other, terrified. On one side, we have the hypothetical General Swordfish, who thinks it's brilliant to fire ballistic missiles into the sea and draw the wrath of the United Arab Emirates and the financial world just to try not to look weak. On the other side, General Atum, who hides behind press rhetoric, saying that they control the blockade. when in fact they have neither the courage nor the functional weaponry to confront the American task force and the invisible wall of steel over the water. The panic of not knowing where the task force intelligence is attacking is causing short circuits throughout the entire system. The board now demands that the Ayatollahs decide. Will they double down on their suicidal bet, moving to engage with real missiles against civilian targets and provoking an imminent annihilation of the High Command? Or will they swallow their humiliation, retreat to the shadows of rhetoric, and try to survive the daily suffocation of not being able to collect tolls in their own jurisdiction? This dictatorship is under the illusion that time can heal its own inefficiency. But the reality is that tomorrow's war will be won by the robotic machine, which feels no pain, requires no rescue, and eliminates threats in absolute silence. Naivete exacts a price that nations cannot afford to pay. Ignorance costs you your own freedom. Prepare your mind. Shielding is strategic. My friends, we have prepared 2 action plans in case they take our channel down. It's our backup channel that's showing on your screen right now. Subscribe there. If this one gets suspended for some reason that you know very well where it might come from, we'll be talking to you there. Plan B is on the screen. Click and subscribe using the link in the description, pinned comment, or the QR codes on your screen. And if you expect the old media to reveal what goes on behind the scenes of this global suffocation, you're still a victim of the system. The mainstream press filters and hides. That's why we activated our exclusive platform outside of this channel, running in an ecosystem completely free from censorship. From now on, you're coming down to our intelligence bunker. Inside, you join more than 3,000 analysts who found the truth here and pore over the map of what really happens in the shadows. Take strategic control of your information. Once again, point your phone's camera at the QR code on the screen or access it through the link in the description and in the first pinned comment. The intelligence bunker that can't be taken offline. Join the base and make sure you're connected with me 24 hours a day. Guys, I said I had a gift for those who made it this far. And yes, it's a fantastic series and I'm recommending it every day. Because I need you to pay attention and watch this series. Because you understand the context of what we're covering here. Because it was put in theaters by the United States government. Yes, my friends, Emmy Global is very big and it was exposed to the public. The chip is there on our series and movies channel. No culture war, no whining, a curation so you don't waste time. The series is Lioness and it's on Paramount+. And if you want to follow our analysis and dive deeper into geopolitics, I highly recommend that you watch this series. It's already on episode 3 and every week we bring a new analysis about each episode. And this last one that came out, my friends, it feels like I was the one who wrote it. So, go check it out and follow along. Link in the description, in the pinned comment and in the card that's going to appear on your screen now. And if this episode is important to you, it's important for other Brazilians too. So, you can sponsor it. What for, Shimon? So it can go further, so YouTube understands that it's important and delivers it to more people. You can sponsor it using Super Thanks, which is down here, or the information that's appearing on your screen right now. Shimon, I'm old. I don't have that technology on my phone. Use the QR code that's showing up there or the big number that's right there. Then you can sponsor this video exclusively, okay? Now, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, leave a like on the video because it takes work to make it. Shield your mind. Yes, shield your mind. I'm Shimon Oliveira and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.